Let me take you to a scene in ancient history shrouded in mystery. A man appears out of nowhere, both a king and a priest, blessing Abraham, the father of nations. This man, Melchizedek, has been revered across centuries, his legacy entwined with religious doctrines. But what if his story is not what it seems? What if Melchizedek is the most important hoax in history? Imagine a figure so mysterious that he appears only briefly in ancient texts, yet his influence stretches across millennia. Melchizedek, the king of Salem and priest of the Most High God, is that figure. His meeting with Abraham in the Bible sparked theological debates, inspired mystical interpretations, and even shaped the idea of eternal priesthood in Christianity. But the big question is, who was Melchizedek really? Was he a historical figure, a symbolic archetype, or something else entirely? Prepare to question everything you thought you knew. Picture this. Abraham, fresh from a decisive victory over enemy kings, encounters a mysterious figure. This man, Melchizedek, emerges from Salem, offers bread and wine, and blesses Abraham in the name of the Most High God. That's it. Just 3 verses in Genesis 14, 18, 20, and he's gone. But those verses hold profound implications. First, Melchizedek is described as both a king and a priest, a rare combination. In the ancient Near East, rulers like the Sumerian priest kings or Egyptian pharaohs often wielded both spiritual and political power. Was Melchizedek one of them? Or was his role symbolic, representing an ideal of divine righteousness? The name Melchizedek itself translates to King of Righteousness, and his title as King of Salem hints at Jerusalem, the city of peace. Could he have been a real Canaanite ruler? Or was this meeting an allegory, a literary device to highlight Abraham's divine favor? The story's brevity leaves much to the imagination, fueling centuries of speculation. Now, fast forward to the New Testament, where Melchizedek's brief appearance transforms into a theological cornerstone. The book of Hebrews, particularly chapter 7, paints him as an eternal figure, without father or mother, without genealogy. This description elevates Melchizedek to a near-divine status, linking him directly to Jesus Christ. Here's the storytelling twist. By presenting Jesus as a priest in the order of Melchizedek, early Christians broke away from the Jewish Levitical priesthood, which required lineage from Aaron. Instead, they created a new, eternal priesthood based on divine appointment. But this reinterpretation sparked controversy. Was it an inspired revelation, or a deliberate attempt to reshape Jewish scripture to fit Christian theology? Skeptics argue that the parallels between Melchizedek and Jesus are too convenient, raising the possibility of narrative manipulation. Theologians debate endlessly. Is Melchizedek a historical figure foreshadowing Christ, or was he retrofitted into the story to serve a new religious agenda? Let's step back and explore the world where Melchizedek might have existed. Salem, often identified as Jerusalem, was a bustling Canaanite city long before it became central to Judaism. Kings in this era, like the Mesopotamian priest kings, were seen as divine intermediaries. The Dead Sea Scrolls offer fascinating insights. The document 11Q Melchizedek portrays him as a heavenly being, delivering divine judgment at the end of times. This apocalyptic image aligns with his eternal portrayal in Hebrews, but also suggests that Melchizedek's story evolved as religious traditions merged and adapted. Could Melchizedek have been a mythological construct, a way to connect emerging monotheism with older Canaanite traditions? Or was he inspired by real figures, like Zedek, a local deity of justice? The lack of historical evidence adds to the mystery, leaving room for endless interpretations. Now, imagine this connection. A king-priest without a recorded beginning or end, embodying righteousness and peace. Sound familiar? Early Christians saw in Melchizedek a perfect prototype for Jesus Christ. This link elevated Melchizedek from a peripheral biblical figure to a pivotal one. His eternal priesthood became the basis for understanding Jesus' role as mediator between God and humanity. But critics point out the striking similarities between Melchizedek and Jesus might not be divine coincidences but theological constructions. Some scholars argue that the Melchizedek-Jesus connection was a strategic move by early Christians to legitimize their beliefs. Others counter that it reflects divine inspiration. This debate isn't just theological, it's about the nature of truth itself. The academic world is divided. On one side, traditionalists argue that Melchizedek's story reflects historical events and divine intervention. On the other, skeptics believe he was a narrative tool, invented to bridge gaps between emerging religious ideas. For example, the lack of genealogy in Genesis is unusual in a text obsessed with lineage. Why was Melchizedek excluded? Was it an oversight, or was it deliberate to make him appear otherworldly? Theologian Margaret Barker suggests that Melchizedek's story reflects ancient temple traditions that predate Judaism. Meanwhile, historian John Bright views him as a Canaanite priest-king, whose story was co-opted into the Abrahamic tradition. The lack of consensus only deepens the intrigue. Was Melchizedek's role exaggerated, or does his mystery point to a deeper truth? In today's world, Melchizedek has transcended religion to become a figure of fascination in New Age spirituality. Books and seminars tout the Order of Melchizedek as a path to enlightenment, describing him as a cosmic guide or an ascended master. This modern reimagining reflects humanity's tendency to reshape ancient stories to fit contemporary needs. But it also raises a question. Why does Melchizedek's story resonate so deeply across eras? Is it because he represents universal ideals like righteousness and peace, or because his mystery allows for infinite interpretation? Now let's separate fact from fiction. First, there's no concrete evidence of Melchizedek's existence. Second, his portrayal in Hebrews is theological, not historical. Third, modern interpretations often reflect cultural trends rather than ancient truths. By dissecting his story, we see how Melchizedek has been shaped and reshaped to serve various agendas. Whether as a symbol of divine righteousness, a prototype for Christ, or a New Age figure, Melchizedek remains a testament to humanity's storytelling power. Melchizedek's story is a blend of mystery, faith, and imagination. Whether he was a historical king, a divine archetype, or a clever narrative invention, his legacy has shaped millennia of thought. But the question lingers. Was he a divine cornerstone, or the most important hoax in history? This isn't just a story about Melchizedek, it's a story about belief, identity, and the human desire for meaning. If this video inspired you to think deeper, like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Let's uncover history's mysteries together.